Okay, so this is definitely something I wanted to address because I've mentioned this several times in comments, but I know that comments can get lost. And also, this is a good opportunity to encourage you guys to at least flip through the comments and see, because I do a lot of responding to the comments. There's a lot of information that can be found there too in the comments of every video that I have. So this person was saying it's not everyone's path to have the spiritual awakening, right? And that doesn't mean they're not vibrating high. My man lifts me up every day is not spiritual at all. I agree. That does not mean they're not vibrating high. And again, I have said this in several comments before, but things get lost in there because so much gets commented on, which is so great. But then we can't see, everything. We can't catch all the stuff. So I wanted to make a whole video on this. So yes, it is not everyone's path to have a spiritual awakening. Exactly. That is very on point. Yes. It is not everyone's path to be spiritually aware, but you can still have a high vibration, right? If you're still learning and growing and working on yourself, being positive and emitting love and all of, you can do all of that without having a spiritual awakening. You can even, spiritual burp, transcend to the new 5D earth energy by not having a spiritual awakening. Now, it'll make it a little bit easier by having a spiritual awakening because then you're like a little bit more motivated to work on stuff. But if you are vibrating at a really high rate because you're just being a great human being and you're just like really nailing it with all your lessons and stuff that you have to learn, you can totally ascend too. You'll have a spiritual awakening when you get to the other side because you'll be like, oh my gosh, and all this stuff will open up and like be shown to you, which is great. But it's not everyone's journey to have a spiritual awakening here, right? We can't all have the same journeys, but that doesn't mean that you're not vibrating high. I agree with you 100%, and I'm so glad you made this comment to remind me to make a video on it. Yes, I agree. And also, if you're not vibrating high, that does not mean you're a bad person, right? That just means that you're learning lessons at a different pace than some other people, and that's okay. We're not all the same. Eventually, at the end of time, we will all get there. We will all be completely enlightened. We will all have learned all the lessons, and that's what matters. As long as we all get there eventually, because time is made up anyway. Doesn't mean anything. So it doesn't matter the time that people spend on stuff. What matters is that you learn the lessons eventually. So yes, I agree with you. I'm so glad that you said this. You can vibrate high 100% and be a great human being without having a spiritual awakening. That is 100% not required.